None of us expect it. And then all of a sudden you're part of this club that no one wants to be a part of. And
a Hendricks County couple is sharing their story for the first time after their toddler died in a hot car. Elizabeth and Austin Crapo's daughter, Marah, passed away in August of 2019.
It's more common than you may think. According to Kids and Car Safety, on average, 38 children die a year in hot cars, or one every 9 days. The Crapos are approaching the 3-year anniversary of their daughter's death.
They want to raise awareness not just about safety, but about managing grief. They sat down with WRTV Investigates Kara Kenny.
I love you.
Her voice.
Blows to see kisses.
Her smile. Her laugh. Just a few of the things Elizabeth and Austin Crapo miss about their daughter Marah, their 5th child.
she was just the highlight of our home.
It was August 25th, 2019. Elizabeth had a lot on her mind that day, including how to spend more time with her kids.
I was really struggling with how to be more present with them.
The Crapos got home from church and ate lunch.
We decided we'd just take a nap. We exhausted.
Austin woke up suddenly and asked if their eldest daughter, Eden, had put Marah down for her nap.
And I said, I'm not sure. And so he ran to go see her in the crib. But at that point, Eden already knew what we were discussing. And so she ran out to the van first. And Austin took her from Eden and said, babe, she's not breathing. So I grabbed her from him and took her to the ground, to the grass, and started doing CPR.
They called 911. The temperature outside was 80 degrees.
Took her to the ambulance. I had assumed that meant we were going to a hospital, and went in to get my keys and my shoes, and as I ran out, Austin said she's already passed.
Detectives questioned Elizabeth and Austin separately. Marah's death was ruled an accident and no charges were filed. But the incident did make headlines. Strangers' Facebook comments and messages were brutal.
The #1 comment that we hear from people is, how do you forget your child if they're the most important thing to you? What's your response to that question?
I think we just need to give some grace and understanding that each of us are going to have moments of stress or distractedness. It's not that you're forgetting them, it's just that your mind is somewhere else.
Experts who have studied hot car deaths say it can happen to even the most loving and attentive of parents.
Have you ever left the coffee on the roof of your car and driven off? Have you ever driven to work?
Even though you're off that day, experts say it's the same type of thing. It's not that you forget your children, it's that your brain is tricking you into believing they're exactly where they need to be.
I failed in my job as a protector. I failed my child. I promise you, nobody could make me feel worse. Not the state of Indiana, not any person who posts on social media is going to make me feel worse than I do. Because it's like I'd gotten kids out of cars thousands of times before and never made that mistake. And oftentimes that's all a mistake is. One deviation or one thing happens.
What do you say to people that say, this could never happen to me?
We live in a world of none of us are perfect. Every parent has made mistakes, and no matter what it looks like, sadly, some of those mistakes result in tragedy, and none of us expect it. And then all of a sudden you're part of this club that no one wants to be a part of.
They've turned their grief into healing and helping others. The Crapos and other families started a nonprofit, Survivors, through their website and Facebook page.
God says in the scriptures that we will be able to have through him and because of him.
They connect with people across the country who've lost children or any loved one.
That's really what our goal is to relate to those who are grieving.
To keep Marah's memory alive, the Crapos do service projects like delivering gift baskets to the first responders who came to their house that August day.
She's watching, and if I can still nurture her by putting a smile on her face, that's something I can do for her still. I know that she's somewhere smiling.
Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
Well, advocates say that raising awareness about hot car deaths is not enough because most parents believe this can't happen to them. The group Kids in Car Safety is pushing the federal government to require occupant detection in all vehicles, which actually senses motion in the car and can set off an alarm. Hot car deaths declined during the pandemic, but experts fear they'll return to the record levels of more than 50 deaths annually in 2018 and 2019.
The good news is that there is technology that exists that can prevent this from happening. There is sensing systems out there that can detect the presence of a child inside of a vehicle and alert the driver, bystanders, or even contact authorities if those people don't respond and let them know that there is a child alone in that vehicle and they are in danger.
In November of 2021, Congress passed a law that requires an audio and visual reminder alert to check the back seat in new passenger vehicles. Kids in Car Safety say that unfortunately the provision does not require the system to detect a child alone in a vehicle. The group says a reminder alert alone falls short and can even create a false sense of security for families. Some tips for parents now: place your purse or your cell phone in the back seat so you remember to check the back. Make it a habit of opening the back door every time you park to ensure no one is left behind. Ask your child care provider to call you right away if your child hasn't arrived as scheduled, and clearly announce and confirm who is getting each child out of the vehicle.